Hello and welcome to another weekend reading vlog. Let's see, for this weekend I have a lot that needs to get done. I have 2 videos to edit. I was able to recover, I think, most of the footage for my like week off vacation vlog, so I'm gonna edit and upload that like ASAP so I don't lose it again. And then I also have my vlog from last weekend where I moved all my furniture and reorganized everything. So I'm hoping to get that edited and uploaded as like a part 1 to my reorganization, because let's get real, there's still some that needs done. I also, to go along with that reorganization, I have some bits and bobs that still need put away. Just like little things that didn't truly have like a home, and now I need to find them a home or like a better solution. So I'm gonna try and get that done. I do have some books that still need shelved, quite a bit actually. So I'm gonna try and get that done this weekend. I'm definitely not moving furniture this weekend. That is like once a month kind of thing. Oh my god. I do not want to wake up sore like that again. But yeah, so I have those on the docket. And then I've been rewatching The Summer I Turned Pretty this week. So I started season 2 last night. I watched 2 episodes, I think, so I have the rest of that to watch, and then of course the 2 new episodes. And I'm thinking about filming my reactions for the 2 season 3 episodes, so I might try and find some like cute pajamas film like reaction videos. So I think that would be fun. They're performing really well over on TikTok, so I don't know if I'll do like a full length. It would be easier to film it with this camera and it will look nicer, but I don't know, we'll see. They're doing so well on TikTok that like I don't want to ruin it. So my reading plans for this weekend, I got my first book from the traveling book club that I'm participating in. So this is with a bunch of girls that I found over on TikTok. There's like a Discord and everything. And the idea with a traveling book club is that I think there's 5 of us and everyone picked a different book, and you read your book and annotate it, and then you send it to the next person, and it goes through all the people, and by the time you get the book back at the end, you have all these like tabs and thoughts from all the different people, and it's a really fun like keepsake type thing. So this is the first book that I got that's not mine, which is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I have read a little bit of this before when it first came out, and like it was fine, but it wasn't like hitting, so I soft DNF'd it. But the time has come to see if I'll like it now. The thing with me in fantasy is that sometimes I'm a fantasy girl and sometimes I'm not. And this one is King Arthur inspired, and I'm not crazy about King Arthur. Like, it's a fine story, but it's not something that I hyperfixate on or anything. So it wasn't like doing much for me. But now that I know that the series is done and people have liked all 3 books in the series, I'm more motivated to read this one and kind of keep going. So I am excited to read this. I'll just read the description on the back so we can all be familiar with what we're getting into. So I have, after her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family, memories, or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energy. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunt the creatures down, and a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin, who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. The recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into society's secret and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveals themselves as a descendant of King Arthur's knights and explains that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. So this sounds super interesting. My goal is to finish this weekend to see if I need to go out and get the rest of these books so I can finish the series, because it just sounds so good. Ooh, and there's an exclusive from the guy's point of view, I guess. Cat and mouse. And you know, oh, my battery is dying, so I'm going to charge that before I do anything interesting. So I finally finished Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This is the first book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and it was so good. Like, look at all the tabs. I really like her voice writing. I've heard that like people either like Lila or Elsie Silver, and I can kind of see why. I think Elsie Silver's writing is a lot more like, not dense, because these aren't dense books, but hers are obviously longer and more complex, and this was a lot more of like an easy read romance book, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, there was drama, but it was more simple and it got to the point a lot quicker than Elsie Silver's books do. So yeah, I had a really good time with this, and I'm excited to keep reading more in the series. But I think for the rest of the day, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my read for Legendborn, and or I'm gonna start watching some Summer I Turned Pretty episodes. In the Lion King voice, it is time. Alright, so I'm going to, let's see, how many pages is in this book? 490 pages. So, I don't know. What if I try, what time is it? Nobody knows. It's 6 o'clock. So, what if I try and start with just 50 pages? That will get me to chapter 7. That should take less than like an hour, and then I can switch to cozy, Somewhere I Turn Pretty, watching and shit posting on the internet about it. Okay, so enough, let's just get started. Almost 9 o'clock and I made it to page 46 in Legendborn. It's taking longer because of the annotating, of course, but so far we have, Bree. So far we have this girl Bree, and her mother died in a car accident, and she goes away to this like college program that's for high schoolers, and it's in North Carolina at UNC Chapel Hill. And so their first night there, they go to this quarry, and she goes with one of her like best friends, and they end up like base jumping basically in the quarry and whatever. And then she meets this guy, and his name is Selwyn, and she sees magic. And this book, it keeps tying the magic back to her mother passing away. Supposedly her mother was like this brilliant scientist who was also a student at one time at the UNC Chapel Hill. So number one, I wonder what her mother knew about magic. Number two, I want to know what Selwyn knew about magic and about like her mother and her mother's passing and all of that. I'm curious to see like who's covering up what and how everyone is tied together. There's apparently some sort of like secret society at this college that is hunting down this magic and magical people, so I'm intrigued about that. And yeah, knowing that it's a trilogy, I'll be interested to see like how much we learn in this book. And of course she got in trouble by the police and everything for going off campus to the quarry. And she's on this like probation type thing where she has to meet with like an older student at the college to make sure she's on the right path, because the dean did not want to kick her out of college. So that's as far as I've gotten so far. I'm gonna switch, I think, to some TV and relaxing. Actually, if I read to page 84, that would be all of part 1, which is what I should do. A smarter person would do that, but I'm ready to kick back and watch some TV now. Okay, so reading update. I made it to part 2, Discord, in Legendborn, and we've been introduced to this character named Nick, and he was assigned to be her like babysitter basically after the whole thing where she got caught off campus by some police or whatever. And at first I thought he was just gonna be like a normal person and she was gonna be fighting with him the whole time to like, I don't know, research this magic but like not tell him or whatever. But come to find out, he is one of these like Legendborn magic-y people, and there's a secret society that's kind of like a fraternity or sorority type thing, and like Nick doesn't want to help her. There's this whole like fight with the hellhounds and he's like, no, I don't want to help you for whatever reason. Come to find out, he like denounced his, I don't know, status in this secret society, and she explains to him that she wants to figure out what's going on because she thinks her mother was killed by one of these Merlins and something's being covered up. So that's where we left off, and they were talking about there's this like trial and a like competition or whatever between all of the new pages, and she basically puts him in a position and forces him to be her sponsor in this competition. So I'm excited to see what happens in this competition, and I wonder how far we're gonna get in the competition in just book one. Like, I don't know if this is going to be like the training sequence book and then we're going to have like the competition and then we're going to find her mother. I don't know. I'm excited to see where this is left off. But I think I'm watching sprints right now and they're about to end and do like a chatty bit. So I think during the chatty bit I'm going to decide if I want to watch a little bit of Summer I Turned Pretty or if I want to keep reading. I'm not sure. I do sort of want to finish this today. That's ambitious. Because the book of the month read along or reading challenge starts today. So I want to be able to focus on that starting tomorrow. That's a lot for a Sunday. But yeah. I'm gonna go put my hair up and yeah, watch the chatty bit. And I'll check in later. So I made it to page 128 in Legendborn. I'm starting chapter 15 and I'm trying to get part 2 finished during Katie's last sprint here. And I will say I like how this book like introduces the lore of the world, because like the magic and the hierarchy of like the kings and the noble people and the pages and all that, it's kind of complex, but they're not like word vomiting this information at you. They're more like, that should be closer, haha, that's a little better I guess, because Bree doesn't really know everything about the world. The like secret society has to explain things to her, and she asks really good questions that help not only her understand things for the story, but they're also helping us understand things as the reader who really doesn't know anything about this world. So I am really liking that a lot. So yeah, how many pages do I have left? 223 of 128, so like 100 pages to read in like an hour. I think I can do it. And Taylor Nation is doing another listen party today. It's for Speak Now. So I did take a cutesy little picture for Instagram. I don't know, that's super white balanced out. It's very purpley. So tomorrow I think is the Red album, or it should be, as part of their countdown. So I don't know if I'm going to do like red books, or if I should do, I don't know if I have any books with like the titles in them. I don't know. But it's been really fun doing these like Taylor Swift inspired flat lays for Instagram. So thanks Taylor Nation for the social media inspiration there. But my second cup of coffee is currently making, so I'm gonna go get that and keep cracking on this book, Legendborn. So I'm taking a break now. My goal is to finish the book by Wednesday and get it like mailed out to the next person. So for the rest of the night, I'm gonna watch some TV, and I think I'm gonna kit up another diamond painting, because the one I'm working on I'm almost done, and I just like kitting up diamond paintings. So I need to find a cute one. This is what we're working with. Those are all of my diamond paintings. I want something a little bit smaller, and I think I want to do something for my desk. I have lots of spooky cats and like bookish diamond painting. So this one is the smallest, and I can definitely tell that it's the smallest because it's the lightest. So I think I'm gonna go with this cat, the purple cat on the little bookshelves.